Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back for online discussion, chemistry, NEET and JEE. So the topics are first PUC, basic concepts of chemistry and chemical bonding, chemical equilibrium and ionic equilibrium, followed by basic principles and techniques and hydrocarbons. So regarding the discussion, the question is from basic concepts of chemistry. We have to calculate molality. Calculate the molality of solution containing 3 grams of glucose dissolved in 30 grams of water. Weight given 3 grams. Solvent mass given 30 grams. We have to calculate molality. So formula we know that molality is equals to weight by gram molecular weight into 1000 by mass of solvent in grams. So here 3 grams of glucose, 3 grams of glucose. We know that gram molecular weight of glucose is equals to 180. Substitute the values in the equation, we will get the right answer. Molality is equals to 3 by 180 into 1000 divided by 30. Because of 3 is the weight of the solute, 180 is the gram molecular weight of the solute, and solvent mass is 30 grams. 3 get cancelled, 0 get cancelled, we will get 10 by 18. 10 by 18 is nothing but 5 by 9. 5 by 9 we simplified that, we should get 0.56 m. 0.56 m is the right answer. Because of 9 5s of 45. That is a simple simplification. 5 by 9. 5 by 9 is equals to 0.56. So second option is right for this question. Second option, you should go with second option, 0.56 m. So this is a formula to calculate molality is equals to weight by gram molecular weight into 1000 by mass of solvent in grams. Gram molecular weight of glucose 180, weight is equals to 3, solvent weight given 30 grams. Substitute the values in this equation. Final answer is 0.56 m. Clear? And this is a question. And next one, we should go with the next question. So see that next question. The total number of electrons in 1.6 grams of methane to that 1.8 grams of water. CH4 gram molecular weight is equals to 16. And on other hand, water gram molecular weight is equals to 18. So the question, the total number of electrons in CH4, number of electrons is equals to 10 because of atomic number of carbon is 6 electrons, atomic number of hydrogen is 1 electron, 1 into 4 electrons, 4 plus 6 10 electrons present in methane, and atomic number of hydrogen 1 into 2 electrons, and oxygen atomic number 8 plus 2 10 electrons present in water. number of electrons is equals to 10. So the question, once you go through the question, my dear students, the total number of electrons in 1.6 grams of methane and 1.8 grams of water. So here 16 grams of methane contain 16 grams of methane contain 10 n electrons. 16 grams of methane contains 10 n electrons, total number of electrons according to the Avogadro number. So here there was given 1.6 grams of methane contain how many electrons? So what is the answer is 1.6 into 10n divided by 16. Point and 0 get cancelled, 16 get cancelled. How many n electrons? Avogadro number of electrons present in 1.6 grams of methane. 1.6 grams of methane contains Avogadro number of electrons. On other hand, we should go second one. What is second one? 1.8 grams of water. So here we know 18 grams of water. 18 grams of water contain 10 n electrons. 18 grams of water contain 10 n electrons because of hydrogen 2, oxygen 8. 2 plus 8, 10. Here carbon 6, hydrogen 4. 6 plus 4, 10. And here the question was 1.8 grams of water. 1.8 grams of water contain how many electrons? So here also we should go with 1.8 into 10n divided by 18. 0.0 get cancelled. 18 get cancelled. How many electrons? Here also we will get n electrons. N electrons. So once you go through that question, my dear students, the total number of electrons in 1.6 grams of methane to that 1.8 grams of H2O. 1.6 grams of methane, n electrons. 1.8 grams of H2O, n electrons. So what will be the answer from the question? It is, the answer will be the same. Same will be the right option for this question. Both are having same number of electrons. That number is Avogadro number of electrons. Avogadro number of electrons are present in 1.6 grams of methane, 1.8 grams of water. So this is a question number basic concepts. And next one, next question. Which has maximum molecules? Which has maximum molecules? Option 1 given 7 grams N2O. 7 grams N2O is equals to how much? 7 by, we know that N2O gram molecular weight is equals to 14 plus 16. 14 plus 16 is equals to how much it is? 44. Weight by gram molecular weight is equals to number of moles. So 7 grams of N2 means 7 by 44 moles. 7 by 44 moles. And second option was given that 20 grams of H2. 20 grams H2. So that is 20 by 2 is equals to how many moles it is? 10 moles. Hydrogen atomic mass 1, hydrogen molecular mass 2. So 20 by 2. 20 by 2 is equals to 10 mole. And option 3, 16 grams NO2. 16 grams NO2 means 16 by NO2 gram molecular weight. NO2 gram molecular weight is equals to 14 plus 16 plus 16. 16, 14, 30, 30, 46 it is. So this is 16 by 46. And the last option, 16 grams SO2. Number 4, 16 grams SO2 is equals to 16 by 64. It is equals to 1 by 4 is equals to 0.254. So question, my dear students, go through the question. Which has maximum molecules? Maximum number of moles is equals to maximum molecules. Which is having maximum number of moles? Option 2, 20 grams of hydrogen is equals to 10 moles. Remaining all options are less than 1 mole. It is less than 1 mole. So the right answer for this question is 20 grams of hydrogen is having maximum number of molecules. Molecules means this value you should multiply it with n, because of here we will get number of molecules is equals to weight by gram molecular weight into Avogadro number. Weight by gram molecular weight into Avogadro number. So go through that. You should multiply with Avogadro number, then we will get the right answer for this question. So according to the options, second option is the right one. 20 grams of H2. 20 grams of H2 is having maximum number of molecules. And next one. Next question, in the reaction 2SO2 plus O2 gives 2SO3 when 1 mole of SO2 and 1 mole of SO2 and 1 mole of O2 are made to react to completion. 1 mole of SO2 and 1 mole of O2 are made to react for completion. So options was given. Number 1, all the oxygens will be consumed, 1 mole of SO3 will be produced, 0.5 mole of SO2 is remained, all of this. So this concept background question is related with limiting reagent. Related with limiting reagent, we should go with the formula equation. 2SO2 plus O2 gives rise to 2SO3. 2SO2 plus O2 gives rise to 2SO3. First we have to find the limiting reagent. Which one is limiting reagent? Once we have to find the limiting reagent, on the basis of the limiting reagent we have to find the right answer. So here stoichiometric coefficient of SO2 is 2. Stoichiometric coefficient of O2 is 1. So what it is? 2. It is 1. But from the question, once you observe that question, 1 mole of SO2 and 1 mole of O2. 1 mole SO2. 1 mole O2. So here according to the stoichiometric coefficient of SO2 is 2. Stoichiometric coefficient of O2 is 1. So 1 mole of SO2. 1 mole of SO2 means SO2 is equals to 1 by stoichiometric coefficient. 1 by stoichiometric coefficient, how much it is? 1 by 2. 1 by 2 means this is said to be 0.5 mole. On other hand, we should go 1 mole of O2. What about the O2 stoichiometric coefficient? Stoichiometric coefficient of O2 is 1. So 1 by 1 is equals to how many moles? 1 mole. So here 0.5 mole of SO2. 0.5 mole of SO2 combined with 1 mole. Because of which is limiting reagent? The limiting reagent is SO2 is the limiting reagent. First we have to make a decision to find the limiting reagent. Which is limiting reagent? According to the limiting reagent only we are finding the option. So what is the limiting reagent? Hence what is that? SO2 is limiting reagent. SO2 is limiting reagent. SO2 is a limiting reagent. So SO2 is totally consumption. Here oxygen given 1 mole. But how much oxygen required here? Half. 1 mole. Here 1 mole was given. 1 mole of SO2 was given. But how much it required is? Here according to the given information, here we have only 0.5 mole only. 0.5 mole means it is totally required. It is completely consumed in this reaction. That's why SO2 is a limiting reagent. On the basis of SO2 limiting reagent, 2 mole SO2 produce 2 mole SO2. 1 mole SO2 produce 1 mole SO2 produce how much it is? 1 mole SO3. So you go with option number second. Option number 2 was there. 1.0 mole of SO3 will be produced. Once you make a decision, this is LR. LR means limiting reagent. So how many moles was given in that question? 1 mole SO2 given. 1 mole SO2 is completely consumed. Oxygen is excess. So 1 mole SO2 produce 1 mole SO3. 1 mole SO3. So second option is right answer. Option 1 was given in that question. All the oxygen will be consumed. All the oxygen will not consumed because of oxygen is in excess. 0.5 mole excess will be there. 0.5 mole will be excess will be there. And option 3, you should go with option 3. 0.5 mole of SO2 is remained. That is also wrong because of SO2 is act as a limiting reagent. So on the basis of that limiting reagent, we should go with this question. So 1 mole of SO3 is formed. In this question, what is the limiting reagent? Limiting reagent is sulfur dioxide. And next one. Now once you observe this next question, the amount of zinc required to produce 11.2 ml of H2, 11.2 ml of H2 at STP on treatment with dilute HCl will be. So this is a stoichiometric calculation numerical, weight versus volume numerical it is. So how to find this this answer? So Zn plus 2HCl gives rise to ZnCl2 plus H2. So this is a balanced stoichiometric equation. In this equation, volume of H2 was given how much? 1.12 ml was given, 1.12 ml, and condition was given, that condition is STP condition. At STP condition, 1 mole of any gas occupy the volume is 22.4 liters or 22,400 milliliters. So here they should was given the volume is 1.12 milliliters. And what about the 1 mole of zinc? 1 mole of zinc. 1 mole of zinc means approximately the mass of zinc is equals to 65 grams of Zn. 65 grams of Zn liberate 65 grams of Zn liberate how much it is? 22,400 ml H2 gas at STP. So this is standard value. Because of here how many moles of hydrogen? Only 1 mole of hydrogen will be liberated in this reaction. Because of it is a balanced stoichiometric reaction. 65 grams of zinc liberate 22,400 ml of H2 gas at STP. So here how much ml was that? 1.12 ml. 1.12 ml of H2 gas. 1.12 ml of H2 gas required. 1.12 ml of H2 gas required. How much amount of zinc? How much amount of zinc? Then we should go with 1.12 into 65 divided by what is it? 22,400. 22,400. This you should remove this point. We can make it is 112 into 65 divided by 22400000. 00 because of here after decimal 2 after point 2 digits was it, you make 2 zeros. So here you make simplification, 1 1 to 1 are 1 1 to 2 are 2 1s are 2, 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4.5, 32.5. 32.5 divided by 10,000. This can be written as 32.5 divided by 10 power 4. The answer is 32.5 into 10 power minus 4. The answer is 32.5 into 10 power minus 4. You should go through that answer number 3. 32.5 into 10 power minus 4 grams. 32.5 into 10 power minus 4 grams is a right answer for this question. The amount of zinc, how much amount of zinc required to produce 1.12 ml of H2 at STP on treatment with dilute HCl. So answer 3 is the right option for this one. So go to the third option. Next question. Next question. The following next from this is from chemical bonding. Which of the following species contains 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair around the central atom? Remember here, 3 bond pairs plus 1 lone pair is equals to total how many pairs? 4 pairs. 4 pairs is sp3 hybridization. Remember it is 4 pairs are sp3 hybridization. Generally sp3 hybridization, the shape of the molecule is pyramidal according to the structure, according to the number of pairs. 3 bond pairs plus 1 lone pair. 3 bond pairs plus 1 lone pair, total 4 pairs. 4 pairs is sp3, but here 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair, the shape of the molecule is pyramidal. So which is having pyramidal shape means the option number 2. Option 2 is a phosphorus trichloride. Phosphorus trichloride is having the shape is, this is a lone pair of molecule and these 3 are the bond pair molecules. So this is the structure of pyramidal. So answer is a phosphorus trichloride. Phosphorus trichloride. That is a conceptual background question. It is simple question, conceptual background. And next question. The geometry of electron pairs around S in SF6. SF6, you should go with SF6. Sulfur hexafluoride. Generally sulfur hexafluoride, sulfur atom undergoes sp3d2 hybridization, and this sp3d2 hybridization, geometry of the molecule will be the octahedral geometry. It is sulfur hexafluoride, central atom sulfur. These all are the fluorines, which are the corners of the square, and here this is a fluorine, this is a fluorine. So this is the geometry of sulfur hexafluoride. This geometry can be named as octahedral geometry. Octahedral geometry, option 1, you should go with option 1, octahedral sp3d2. And the next question, this is also concept background question, simple question. Next one, the BCl3 is a planar. The BCl3 is a planar molecule, whereas NCl3 is a pyramidal, because BCl3 is a planar, NCl3 is a pyramidal because of we know all things. We know the hybridization of BCl3 and NCl3. BCl3 has a no lone pair, but NCl3 has a lone pair of electron. NCl3 has a lone pair of electron. BCl3 has no lone pair. BCl3 has no lone pair. So here the answer how we should find means BCl3 is there. One more is NCl3 is there. How to find? One formula is there. Hybridization is equals to total number of valency electrons divided by 8. By using this formula we can find which is having lone pair and which is doesn't contain lone pair. So here boron belongs to third group and number of chlorine is 3. Chlorine belongs to 7 by 8. Here nitrogen belongs to fifth group, number of chlorine is 3. Chlorine belongs to 8 group divided by 8. So here 3 plus 21 by 8. 3 plus 21 by 8 is equals to 24 by 8. 24 by 8 is equals to 3 number we will get. We will get the number 3. What is the number 3? Number 3 stands for sp2 hybridization. Number 3 stands for sp2 hybridization. This 3 number stands for 3 bond pairs. 3 number stands for 3 bond pairs, and shape of the molecule is a trigonal planar. Trigonal planar shape is possible in boron trichloride. On other hand, we should come with nitrogen trichloride. What we will get? 5 plus 21 by 8. 5 plus 21 by 8 we will get 26 by 8. 26 by 8 is not 26 is not in 8 table, so that's why you should go with this method. 8 3 is a 24, then remaining is 2. This remaining is less than 8. We should go satisfy with helium configuration, then 2 1s are 2 is equals to 0. This is bond pair, this is lone pair. So total number of bond pairs 3 bond pairs, and number of lone pairs 1 lone pair. That's why it is a pyramidal shape, and the shape of hybridization of the molecule is sp3 hybridization. So you make a note, my dear students, this is very important to calculate hybridizations. How to find hybridizations? According to the hybridization, we are deciding the shape of the molecule. Is it a square planar? Is it a square pyramidal? Is it pyramidal? And trigonal, bipyramidal. If number is 3, that is trigonal planar. If number is 4, in this number 4 number, 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair. So you should go with option number 2. BCl3 has no lone pair because of 3 bond pairs will be there, and NCl3 has 1 lone pair. 3 is a bond pair, 1 is a lone pair. So that is that's why BCl3 is a planar and NCl3 is a pyramidal. That will be the explanation regarding that. And next one is next the question is, in which of the following bond angle is maximum? Bond angle maximum, simple, some examples was given. In H3 we know NH3 is having sp3 hybridization, bond angle is 107 degrees, shape of the molecule is a pyramidal. Shape of the molecule is a pyramidal. And next NH4 plus. NH4 plus is also sp3 hybridization, and here shape of the molecule is a tetrahedral, bond angle is a 109 degrees 28 minutes. Bond angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. And next one is a PCl3. PCl3 is having sp3 hybridization and it is less than 107 degrees, and shape of the molecule is a pyramidal. And last one is a SCl2. SCl2 is a sp3 hybridization, but bond angle is less than what it is, 107 degrees. Shape of the molecule is a bent shape. All are having sp3 hybridizations. All are having sp3 hybridizations. Here option 1 you should go with 3 bond pair plus 1 lone pair. Option 2 is a 4 bond pairs, no lone pairs, 0 lone pairs. And option 3 also 3 bond pair plus 1 lone pair. And option 4 is a 2 bond pair plus 2 lone pair. 2 bond pair plus 2 lone pair, that's why it is a sp3 hybridization, just like as a water molecule like that, and it is a shape is a bent shape or angular shape. And here this is only the right answer, NH4 plus. NH4 plus is a tetrahedral geometry and the bond angle is nearly 109 degrees 28 minutes is the right answer. This is also a conceptual question regarding hybridizations. And next one, so for this second option is right, NH4 plus is the right answer for this question. And next question is, H2O is polar whereas BeF2 is not. It is because. So simple question, this is also BeF2. BeF2, you go with BeF2 is a sp hybridization. BeF2 is sp hybridization and H2O is a sp3 hybridization. H2O is sp3 hybridization having 2 bond pairs plus 2 lone pairs. Shape of the molecule is angular. Angular shape, you should go with water molecule. We can draw like this. Oxygen is having 2 lone pair of electrons and bond angle is 104.5 degrees. On other hand, we should come with beryllium fluoride. Beryllium fluoride is a linear structure which is having 2 fluorines are like this, and here the bond angle is 180 degrees, and the shape of the molecule is a linear shape. 2 fluorines are in opposite direction and the applying force will be the opposite, but here water molecule is having some dipole, but beryllium difluoride doesn't have any dipole. That's why we should go with answer is H2O is angular and BeF2 is linear. Answer 4, we should go with the answer 4. H2O is angular. This is angular, or sometimes you should say it is a bent or it is a V shape, because due to the presence of 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. So this will be this type of geometry. And on the other hand, we should go with beryllium difluoride is a sp hybridization with the bond angle is 180 degrees linear. So right answer is a fourth answer. H2O is angular and BeF2 is linear. And next question. The correct order regarding the electronegativity of hybrid orbitals of carbon is. So carbon is forming 3 types of orbitals. One is sp3, second one is sp2, third one is sp. All sigma bonds are sp3, 1 pi bond is sp2, 2 pi bonds are sp. So here we should go with the correct order regarding the electronegativity of hybrid orbitals of carbon. So here S character, in sp3 S character 1/4, in S character here 1/3, here S character is 1/2. 1/2 we should go with 50%, here 33.33%, here 25%. You make one note, my dear students, as S percentage increases, electronegativity increases. acidic strength also increases. You make these 3 points are very, very important for competitive. This is a very important dialogue. As S character increases, electronegativity increases. If electronegativity increases, acidic strength also increases. All will be the increases. That's why the option we should go with option is Sp greater than, Sp2 greater than, Sp3. This is a electronegativity decreasing order. Triple bond is more electronegative. Next is double bond. Next is a single bond. On that double bond, alkene is double bond. Benzene also double bond. Then we should go benzene. After that alkene, next is alkene. So third option is right. Sp greater than, Sp2 greater than, Sp3. Both are third option. Sp greater than, Sp2 greater than, Sp3. Right answer it is for this question. And next one. Next question, which species does not exhibit paramagnetism? What is the condition for paramagnetism? Condition for a paramagnetism is the presence of odd number electrons or unpaired electrons. So option number 1, N2 plus. Option 2, O2 minus. Option 3, CO. Option 4, NO. So here we should go with these 4 options. Very good options these are, and easy to find which is right, which is wrong. Once we go with N2, 2 into 7 minus 1, because of atomic number of nitrogen 7, number of nitrogen atoms 2, 2 into 7, 14, 14 minus 1, 14 minus 1 is equals to 13 electrons, odd number of electrons. Next is 2 into 8 plus 1, because of here minus charge is minus charge is there, 8 into 2, 16 plus 1 is equals to 17 electrons, and here 6 plus 4, sorry 6 plus 8 is equals to 14 electrons, and here 7 plus 8 is equals to 15 electrons. Here odd number, here odd number, here odd number. Odd number electrons are responsible for paramagnetism. One exception is there, that is oxygen. Oxygen is a even number, but still it is having paramagnetic due to the presence of pi star 2px and pi star 2py has having a unpaired electrons. So that is the exception case, not exception according to the MOT it is. So here what will be the answer means CO. CO here is having 14 electrons. CO is having 14 electrons. So CO is not exhibit paramagnetism. So answer 3 is the right for this question. According to the number of electrons only we have to find the answer. Clear? And next one. Which of the following is not correct statement? Multiple bonds are always shorter than corresponding single bonds. The statement is obviously correct statement. The electron deficient molecules can act as Lewis acids. Electron deficient molecules can act as Lewis acids. That is also exactly correct statement. The canonical structures have no real existence. Yes, exactly that point also exact. The canonical structures have no real existence. And we should go with the last point. Every AB5 molecule does in fact have square pyramidal structure. AB5 is square pyramidal structure only. AB5 is square pyramidal structure. BRF5, you are going with BRF5, ClF5, such type of interhalogen compounds which are belonging to AB5 structure. Every AB5 molecule does in fact have square pyramid structure. So that is a not correct statement. AB5 molecule does in fact have square pyramid structure. So generally AB5 is undergoes square pyramidal because of once we observe this AB5 geometry in sp3d2. sp3d2 generally 6 bond pairs is octahedral, 5 bond pairs, 1 lone pair is a square pyramidal, 4 bond pairs plus 2 lone pairs is a square planar. So this is concept background question. So we should go with option number 4. Every AB5 molecule does in fact have square pyramid structure. That is not a correct statement. This is a conceptual background question. And next we should go with incorrect statement regarding hybridization. This is also a concept background question. It is not possible for isolated atoms. Number of hybrid orbitals formed is the same as of orbit coming. Only the half-filled orbitals and full-filled orbitals can participate, not the empty orbitals. It is not a real physical process. So incorrect statement regarding this hybridization, we should go with the third option. Third option, what he said, only the half-filled orbitals and full-filled orbitals can participate, not the empty orbitals. Empty orbitals also are participating in the hybridization. So partially filling orbitals also participating in the hybridization. So that is a incorrect statement regarding that question. So you should go with the third option. Only the half-filled orbitals and the full-filled orbitals can participate, not the empty orbitals. Is not a good statement. It is not a good statement. So that is a wrong option. Next question. This is concept background. Next 60th question also concept background. Orthonitrophenol. So two phenols will be there. One is orthonitrophenol, second one is paranitrophenol. Orthonitrophenol, paranitrophenol can be separated by using the steam distillation. Orthonitrophenol is a more volatile. Orthonitrophenol is a steam volatile. And paranitrophenol is less volatile. What is the reason here? Means intramolecular hydrogen bonding. That is, you make a note, my dear student. Intramolecular H bond. Orthonitrophenol is a steam volatile. What is the reason? Means reason is expressed in the form of intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Intramolecular hydrogen bonding takes place in orthonitrophenol. In paranitrophenol is less volatile. Because of that is an example for intermolecular hydrogen bond. So the right option for this question is first option, more volatile than paranitrophenol. More volatile than paranitrophenol. Concept background question from bonding. Next, in which of the following does the reaction go almost to completion? So in chemical equilibrium, this belongs to chemical equilibrium, and according to the chemical equilibrium, we should go with 10 power minus 3 to 10 power 3. Kc is less than 10 power minus 3. Reactants are predominant. Kc is greater than 10 power 3. Products are predominant. Kc is in between 10 power minus 3 to 10 power 3. Both reactants and products will be present. This will be the condition from chemical equilibrium. From chemical equilibrium, this is a condition. So it is greater than 10 power 3 or 10, is it equals to greater than 10 power 3? Both only products will be dominant. Products will be dominated means almost a reaction will be finished. Almost the reaction will be finished. So we should go with that first option. The option first one is 10 power 3. Kc is equals to 10 power 3 is a right answer for this question. If it is minus 10 power minus 3, it is 10 power minus 3. Reactants dominate. 10 power minus 2, both. 10 power 2, both. So you should follow this condition. 10 power minus 3 to 10 power 3. Here both. Here products predominate. Here reactants predominate. So that is the solution for this question. So here the option is 10 power 3 because of reaction is almost completed. And next one, see this question. 4 grams of hydrogen, 32 grams of oxygen, 14 grams of N2, 11 grams of CO2 are taken into a bulb of 500 ml. Which one of these has maximum active mass? Active mass means square bracket. Active mass. What is the active mass? Active mass is equals to square bracket. What is the square bracket formula? Means N by V. Number of moles divided by volume in liters. Number of moles divided by volume in liters. Number 1, we should go with option 1. Option 1 is 4 grams H2. 4 grams of H2 is equals to 4 by 2. 4 by 2 is equals to how much? 2 moles. So active mass of H2 is equals to 2 by 0.5. Why it is 2 by 0.5? Because of volume is 500 ml. Volume is 500 ml. You convert the volume of 500 ml is into liter. 500 ml volume into liter. You should get 0.5. Then what the answer is? 4. 4 mole per liter. 4 mole per liter, that is active mass of hydrogen. How many grams? 4 grams of hydrogen active mass is equals to 4 moles per liter. Once again I am repeating this. Active mass is equals to N by V. What is N? Number of moles. What is V? Volume of the solution in liters. Here the question was given, the volume is in milliliter. You convert the milliliter into liter, that is 0.5. 4 weight was given, 4 molecular weight is 2. And option 2, 32 grams of oxygen. Go with 32 grams of oxygen. 32 grams of oxygen is equal to 32 by 32. 32 by 32 is equals to what? 1 mole. 1 mole is equals to what? What is active mass of oxygen? 1 by 0.5. 1 by 0.5, what is the answer is? 2 mole per liter. 2 mole per liter. And option 3, 14 grams of N2. Go with option 3, 14 grams of N2. 14 grams of N2 is equals to 14 by 28. 14 by 28 is equals to 1 by 2 mole. 1 by 2 mole means what about active mass of N2 is equals to 0.5 divided by 0.5 is equals to what? 1 mole per liter. 0.5 by 0.5, answer is 1 mole per liter. And last option is 11 grams of CO2. Fourth option, 11 grams of CO2. 11 grams of CO2 is equals to 11 by 44 is equals to 1 by 4. 1 by 4 is equals to 0.25. So what is active mass of CO2 is equals to 0.25 divided by 0.5. So here we should go with the answer is 0.5 mole per liter. So which is the right answer, my dear students? Go through the question once again. Going back the question, 4 grams of hydrogen, 32 grams of oxygen, 14 grams of nitrogen and 11 grams of CO2 are taken into 500 ml. 500 ml, you convert the ml value into the liter. So you can calculate active mass of hydrogen 4, active mass of oxygen is 2, active mass of nitrogen 1, active mass of CO2 is 0.5. So right answer for this question is 4 grams of H2. 4 grams of H2 is the right answer for this question. Clear? And next one. Two moles of N2 and 2 moles of H2 are taken in a closed vessel at of 5 liters capacity, and suitable conditions are provided for the reaction. When the equilibrium is reached, it is found that a half mole of N2 is used up. Half mole of N2 is used up. Something will be missed in this question, and we should add, my dear students, we should add some point. This will be the incomplete question. Calculate the concentration of NH3 at equilibrium. That is the question. Concentration of NH3 at equilibrium is what? Concentration of NH3 at equilibrium is equal to question mark. So we know that N2 gives rise to, N2 plus 3H2 with equilibrium, what it is? 2NH3. N2 plus 3H2 equilibrium 2NH3. Initial, what given initial, what it is? Initial moles given 2 mole N2, 3 mole H2, 0 mole NH3. Because of 2 mole N2 and 2 mole H2. 2 mole N2 and 2 mole H2 are taken into a closed vessel of 5 liter capacity. 5 liter capacity and suitable conditions. 5 liter capacity and suitable conditions are provided for the reaction. When the equilibrium reached, it is found that half mole of N2 is used up. Half mole of N2 is used up. Then what is the concentration of ammonia? So here at equilibrium, we should write 2 minus x. Here you should write 2 minus 3x, and this is 2x. And what is the condition was given at equilibrium? Half mole of N2 is used. Half mole of N2 is used. So at equilibrium, 0.5 mole of N2 is used. So what is N2? 2 minus 0.5 is equal to 1.5. Here 2 minus 3 into 0.5 is equals to 0.5. Here 2 into 0.5 is equals to what? 1. 2 into 0.5 is equals to 1. Remember, this step is very, very important, my dear students. Here we should go with 2 minus x because of stoichiometric coefficient 1. Here 2 minus 3x, stoichiometric coefficient 3. Here 2x. What is x? X given, that is 1 by 2. X given in the question is 1 by 2. Once you go through the text, last line, half mole of N2 is used up. Half mole of N2 is used up means N2 is used only half mole. That's why you should substitute x is equal to 0.5. 0.5 means nothing but 1 by 2. Then 2 minus 0.5 is equals to 1.5. Sorry, it is 1.5. 2 minus 3 into 0.5 means 2 minus 1.5 is equal to 0.5. And 2 into 0.5 is equals to 1. 2 into 0.5 is equals to 1. But what is the question? Concentration of NH3 at equilibrium. So here we have to find the concentration of NH3. Concentration of NH3 is equals to number of moles divided by volume. Number of moles divided by volume means whatever the NH3 moles is equals to 1 and whatever the volume is equals to 5 liters. So answer is 0.2. Answer is 0.2. Third option in that question it is option 3 is the right answer for this question. 0.2. I hope you understood this question, my dear students. Don't get confused. This is a equilibrium background question. You should do more struggles. It required more struggles to solve such type of questions. The question is easy, but we have to make this conversion. 2 moles N2, 2 moles H2, 2 minus x, 2 minus 3x. It is 2x. X given 1 by 2. 2 minus 1 by 2 means 1 and a half. 2 minus 3 into half. 3 into half, 1 and a half. 2 minus 1 and a half means half. 2 into half is equals to 1. So 1 mole we will get at equilibrium and 1 by 5. 1 by 5 is equals to 0.5. This is the right answer for the question number equilibrium constant. Answer 3. Answer 3 is right. This was an incompleted question. So you make a completion with that last line. And next. Next question, which one of the following equilibrium moves backward when pressure is applied? Moves backward when pressure is applied. So option 1 was given N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3. N2 plus O2 gives rise to 2NO. See this, N2 plus O2 equilibrium 2NO, because 1 plus 1 is equal, 1 plus 1 reactants, 2 products, same moles. Same moles, pressure effect is 0. Option 1. N2 plus 3H2 equilibrium 2NH3. Here reactants 4 moles, products 2 moles. High pressure, forward direction. Low pressure, backward direction. What is the question? Which one of the following equilibrium moves backward when pressure is applied? When is backward? Backward we require low pressure. At high pressure, forward direction. Because of high pressure, lesser number of molecules. More pressure, lower number of molecules. So that's why what I am saying, you should go with the third option. Third option was there, water. Water is in liquid state, ice is in solid state. You apply pressure here. Apply pressure here, equilibrium goes which direction? Backward direction. Equilibrium goes backward direction. So the right answer for this question is water equilibrium ice. This is concept background question. So don't get worried about this. It is easy to find. You go with one point according to the Le-Chatelier's principle. Pressure applied, equilibrium moves towards lesser number of molecules. But here option 3, option 4 will be there is no molecules. Option 3, option 4 both are belongs to physical equilibrium. So ice, you apply pressure on ice, ice become liquid. So liquid water is in left side, ice is in right side, and you go with the fourth option, solid to gas. Solid to gas, that is also not correct. So here we should go with water versus ice. And next one is mathematical background question. It is at 100 degrees centigrade, Kw given 10 power minus 12 pH of pure water at 100 degrees centigrade. So here Kw is equals to 10 power minus 12. We know Kw is equals to concentration of H plus into concentration of OH minus. Concentration of H plus concentration of OH minus is equals to what? Kw. Pure water. What is pure water? Pure water is equals to H plus concentration is equals to OH minus concentration. Then we should go with the Kw is equals to concentration of H plus into concentration of H plus. So concentration of H plus whole square is equals to Kw. So what is concentration of H plus is equals to whole square is equals to 10 power minus 12. Then concentration of H plus is equals to root over 10 power minus 12 is equals to 10 power minus 6. So concentration of H plus is equals to 10 power minus 6. You go with formula. What is the formula? pH is equals to minus log H plus. So minus log H plus, you can substitute that 10 power minus 6. Then what is the answer is 6 log 10. Log 10 is equals to 1. So what is the answer means? The answer is 6. pH is equal to 6 for this question. Option number 2 is right answer for this. Go through that option number 2, and before that going option, we should once again cross check. Kw given 10 power minus 12. Kw is equal to H plus concentration into OH minus concentration. Water water is neutral with litmus, 7 pH, and H plus concentration is equal to OH minus ion concentration. You can substitute OH minus is equal to H plus, concentration H plus whole square is equal to Kw. Substitute Kw 10 power minus 12 whole square, remove the square, you will get root. The root value of 10 power minus 12 is equal to 10 power minus 6. Apply the formula pH. pH is equal to minus log H plus, that is minus log 10 power minus 6 minus to minus plus 6 log 10. Log 10 1, the answer is 6. Clear? The answer is 6. For this question, you go with the second answer. Second answer is the 6 for the right answer for this one. And next one. The pH of solution is 0. The solution is. The pH of solution is 0. The solution is what? So this is a concept background solution. A concept background question because of neutral. For neutral, what is the pH? pH is equal to 7. And decimolar. Decinormal means deci is 0.1. Deci is 0.1. And strongly alkaline. Strongly alkaline pH is closer to the 14. Remember, because of less than 7 is acid, more than 7 is base. Strong base, strongly alkaline means the pH is closer to the 14. And what is the remaining option means normal acid. What is the answer is normal acid. This is a concept background question. So no need to worry about this. Normal acid is the right answer for the pH of solution is 0. And next question 67. pH of 1m HCl is pH of 1m HCl. So 1m HCl pH is what? HCl is a strong acid. HCl is a strong acid. So generally acids pH is less than 7. Acid pH is less than 7. So we should go with generally strong acids pH is nothing but 0 to 3. 0 to 3. 1m means the concentration of hydrogen was given 1m. So we know that log 1m HCl. HCl will give rise to what? H plus plus Cl minus. Whatever the concentration of H plus is equals to 1m. Log 1, we will go with log 1. Log 1 is equals to what? 0. Substitute H plus concentration is equals to 1. Then what is log 1? Log 1 is equals to 0. That's why without a numerical we can find minus 2 is not possible. 7 is for neutral. 14 is also not, 14 is for bases. So one and only option, this is odd man out option. So option is 0 is right for this one. 0 is right for this question it is. Go with 0. And the next. Which of the following salts undergo hydrolysis? Which of the following salt undergo hydrolysis? Option 1 only we should go with that. CH3, COO, Na only undergo hydrolysis gives rise to CH3, COO minus and Na plus. Because of it is obtained from weak acid plus strong base salt it is. The salt is called as weak acid strong base salt. Once you go with remaining acids, KNO3, NaCl, K2SO4, KNO3, NaCl, K2SO4, these are also salts, but these salts are obtained from strong acid, strong base salts. HNO3 plus KOH, HCl plus NaOH, H2SO4 plus KOH, strong acid plus strong base salts. But this is an example of weak acid, strong base salt. That's why this salt undergoes hydrolysis. So answer 1 is the right answer for this question. It is also concept background question. And the next one, precipitation occurs only if IP. What is IP means? Ionic product of water. It is denoted by Kw. It is denoted by Kw. So what is the condition for the precipitation means? Precipitation occurs only if ionic product of water exceeds solubility product. Ionic product exceeds solubility product, precipitate occurs. Ionic product less than solubility product, precipitate does not occur. So this is a concept background question. So you should go with the option 2. Precipitation occurs when precipitation is formed. Precipitation is formed means ionic product is exceeds solubility product. Exceeds solubility product, that is the second option is there. For this question, you should go through that concept background question it is. And the next one is numerical background. 1.1 mole of A is mixed with 1.2 mole of B, and the mixture is kept in a 1 liter flask till the equilibrium A plus 2B, equilibrium 2C plus D is reached. At equilibrium 0.1 mole of D is formed. The Kc of the reaction is what? So this is important question. A plus 2B, equilibrium 2C plus D. A plus 2B, equilibrium 2C plus D, given that it is 1.1 mole A, 1.2 mole B. This is 0, this is 0, this is what it is. Initial moles. Initial moles are 1.1 mole of A is mixed with 1.2 mole of B. And volume was given 1 liter. 1 liter means you divide this number of moles with volume. There is no change in the value. So it is same. The value, what the value is same for the concentration also. And at equilibrium 0.1 mole of D is formed. You go with here. At equilibrium, what is here? 1.1 minus x. This one is 1.2 minus 2x. Because of whatever the stoichiometric coefficient is equals to 2. And here it is 2x. This is x. So what given from the question it is at equilibrium 0.1 mole of D is formed. What is D? D is equal to x. At equilibrium 0.1 mole D is formed. So from this, what is x? X is equals to 0.1. X is equal to 0.1. On the basis of this, concentration of D is equals to 0.1. Concentration of C is equal to 2 into 0.1. That is equals to 0.2. And concentration of B is equals to 1.2 minus 2 into 0.1. This is 1.0. And concentration of A is equals to 1.1 minus 0.1. This is also 1.0. Supply x values in this equation. Supply x is equal to here, x is equal to 0.1, x is equal to 0.1, x is equal to 0.1, x is equal to 0.1. After that, what is the formula to calculate Kc is equals to? Kc is equals to concentration of C power 2, concentration of D, concentration of A, and concentration of B power. Concentration of C how much? 0.2 whole square, and concentration of D is 0.1 divided by 1 into 1 square. So it is 0.2, 0.2, 0.1 divided by 1. The answer is 2 to the 4, 1, 2, 3 digits, 0, 0, 0. So this will be the answer 0.004. 0.004 is the right answer for this question. Stoichiometric coefficient of A is equal to 1. 1.1 minus x. 1.2 minus 2x. Coefficient to 2x. Coefficient 1x. After that, at equilibrium was given 0.1 mole D is formed. So x is equal to 0.1. Here 2 into 0.1, 0.2. 2 into 0.1, 0.2. 0.2 means 1.2 minus 0.2, 1. 1.1 minus 0.1, 1. So your denominator, it is concentration of A, concentration of B, concentration of D, concentration of C. Power whole square. 0.2 into 0.2, 0.04. With multiply with 0.1, we will get 0.004. 0.004 on the right answer. Option number 2 is correct for this question. It is. You should go with the second option. It is. And next. 71. Sorry, next question. Which of the following is heterocyclic compound? Pyrrole, furan, thiophene, all of this. So here all will be the heterolytic only. Pyrrole. This is a pyrrole. This is a furan. And it is a thiophene. These all examples are belongs to heterolytic compounds. So fourth option is right because of here heteroatom. What is heteroatom? In case 1 nitrogen, case 2 oxygen, case 3 sulfur. All will be the heterolytic compounds. So go through this one. All are will be the right answer for this question. Next question number IUPAC. See that IUPAC name of the compound having formula. What is the formula? CH3 4. You should go with like this. You can expand that CH3, CH3 and CH3, CH3. You give number 1, 2, 3. This is the formula 1, 2, 3. 3 is said to be propane. Root word prop. Suffix is N and 2, 2 dimethyl. So this will be the 2, 2 dimethyl propane. 2, 2 dimethyl propane is the right answer. So the option 3. Option 3, 2, 2 dimethyl propane is right for this question because it is also concept background question. Go through that formula CH3 4. You can expand that, give the numbering. 3 number carbon propane. Second carbon is having methyl groups. So it is 2, 2 dimethyl propane. 2, 2 dimethyl propane is right for this question. Option is second option is right for that one. Option 2. Option 2 is right. And next. The most stable carbocation is. The most stable carbocation is option 1 given CH3 single bond CH plus single bond CH3. So here this is alpha, this is alpha. In this example, number of alpha hydrogens 6. Here 3 alpha hydrogens, 3 alpha hydrogens, 6 alpha hydrogens. So in example number 1, we expect more hyperconjugation. Hyperconjugation is dominating than inductive effect. Hyperconjugation is dominating the inductive effect. In second option, third option, fourth option, we should go. In second option, left side 3 hydrogens, right side 2 hydrogens, 5 will be there. In third option also 5 is there. In fourth option, 4 hydrogens only there. Once you give a look, right side, left side, with respect to the C plus, those hydrogens are said to be alpha hydrogens. So in case 1, 6 alpha hydrogens are there, more stable according to the alpha hydrogens. Number of alpha hydrogens increases, stability increases. So first option is right for this question. So CH3 single bond, CH plus CH3. And next, the nucleophile is not. The nucleophile is not a Lewis acid. This is direct question. This is concept background. What is a Lewis acid? Lewis acid is a electrophile. Lewis acid is electrophile. Lewis acid is not a nucleophile. What is a nucleophile means? Lewis base is nucleophile. Lewis base is nucleophile and water molecule is also nucleophile. Carbon ion is also nucleophile because of carbon ion means negatively charged. Except second option, Lewis acid. Lewis acid is not belongs to Lewis acid, not belongs to nucleophile. It belongs to electrophile. And next question, concept background. Second answer is right for this one. And next, the electromeric effect is. This is also concept background question. It is the electromeric effect is a permanent effect, that is 100% wrong. Permanent effect is inductive effect is a permanent effect. Electromagnetic effect is not a permanent effect. It is a temporary effect, that is also right. Pi electrons transferred in this effect. This is also correct. So option 2 and option 3. Both option 2 and option 3 are correct regarding this because of electromagnetic effect is a temporary in the presence of attacking reagent. In the presence of attacking reagent, it will be delocalization of pi bond takes place. If attacking reagent will be not present, so there is no delocalization. On the basis of that, we should go with the fourth option. Both 2 and 3, both 2 and 3 are the correct for this question. Option 4 is right. And next, the mixture of urea and naphthalene can be separated by. The mixture of urea and naphthalene can be separated by urea. Naphthalene is a solid, urea is also a solid. Filtration, sublimation, chromatography, distillation. So we should go with sublimation only. Naphthalene, because of naphthalene we know that it has having the characteristic property, that is sublimation. It sublimates. So we can use the technique to separation of urea with naphthalene by the technique name is called as sublimation. This is also outright concept background question. Second option is right for this one. And next, steam distillation in applied for the separation of those compounds which are steam volatile and insoluble in water. This point was very important. Steam distillation generally we can apply orthonitrophenol and paranitrophenol. Orthonitrophenol and paranitrophenol in liquid state, those are insoluble. In gaseous phase, once those are in gaseous state, they can mix together. So steam volatile and insoluble in water. The compound, you should take one organic compound, the compound which is insoluble in water, and one is the compound is the steam volatile. Such type of compounds going with the technique, extraction technique by using that steam distillation. So in this steam distillation, the condition is one is a steam volatile and the second condition is insoluble in water. So it is also concept background question. Go through with NCERT. And next one, numerical background. 0.2 grams of an organic compound is completely combustion, produces 0.18 grams of water, then percentage of hydrogen in it is. So here organic compound given 0.2 grams, water mass given 0.18 grams. You know one formula, percentage of hydrogen in water is equal to 2 by 18 into mass of water divided by mass of organic compound into 100. This is a formula according to Liebig's process. This process is called as Liebig's method. One derivation formula is there to calculate percentage of hydrogen in water. 2 by 18 into mass of water divided by mass of organic compound into 100. So here we should go with 2 by 18 into mass of water is equal to 0.18, mass of organic compound is 0.2 into 100. So here point after point 2 digits are there, here 1 digit is there, we make 1 0 here, point get cancelled, 18 get cancelled, 0 get cancelled, 2 get cancelled. So what is the answer? Means answer is a 10%. Simple numerical without calculator, we have to find the answer in proper time within 5 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds we can finish this. 2 by 18 into 0.18 by 0.2 into 100. 2 digits are there, you make one more digit as 0. After that point get cancelled, 0, 0, 0, everything will be cancelled. Finally, 10% is the right answer for this question. Second option is right. Second option, you go through this second option for this one. By using Liebig's process, the formula is percentage of hydrogen is equals to 2 by 18 into mass of water divided by mass of organic compound into 100. Next, the number of structural isomers possible from the molecular formula C3H9N. See this C3H9N. We should write this formula is like this: CH3, CH2, CH2, NH2. This is primary amine, propylamine or propanamine, primary amine. Second, CH3, CH, NH2, CH3. This is also primary amine, but it is propane 2 amine, propan 2 amine. This is propane 1 amine, propanamine, propanamine 1 propanamine, 2 propanamine, and you mix, you interchange this NH inside. CH3, CH2, NH, CH3. This is an example of secondary amine. N-methyl ethanamine. N-methyl ethanamine, or it is also called as methyl ethylamine. methyl ethylamine, or it is also called as N-methyl ethanamine. And one more you should go with CH3, sorry, NCH3, CH3. So this is an example for tertiary amine. There is an example for tertiary amine. Trimethylamine, N-N dimethyl methanamine. IUPAC is N-N dimethyl methanamine or trimethylamine. So one is a tertiary amine, one is a secondary amine, two are the primary amines. So total number of possible isomers, molecular formula for C3H9N is 4 is the right answer. It is the answer is 4, option 3. Option 3 will be the right for this question. Primary amines will be 2, secondary amine is 1, tertiary amine is 1. Clear? Secondary amine is 1, tertiary amine is also 1. So this is right. And next one. Next question. Among the following compounds, the one that is most reactive towards electrophilic nitration is electrophilic nitration. Generally, electrophilic nitration takes place where it is electrophilic substitution reactions takes place when the group is active, just like as a phenol and methoxy or alkyl groups. Those are active benzene ring towards ortho and para direction. So here there was given, one is toluene given, second one is benzene given, third one is benzoic acid is given, fourth one is nitrobenzene is given. Remember here students, nitro group and benzoic acid both are electron withdrawing groups. Nitro group, carboxylic acid groups, both are what it is? Electron withdrawing group. Electron withdrawing group deactivate. Electron withdrawing group deactivate benzene ring. Electron withdrawing group deactivate benzene ring towards ESR. Electron withdrawing group deactivate benzene ring towards electrophilic substitution reactions. So these two are not. Next, coming to this one. One is a benzene, second one is methyl group. Methyl group is electron donating group. Electron donating group, what it is doing? Activate benzene towards electrophilic substitution reactions. Electron donating group activate benzene towards electrophilic substitution reactions. So the right answer is this one, toluene. Toluene is a right answer for this question. Toluene is easily undergoes nitration, that is electrophilic substitution reaction. So the right answer is for this question is the first option. Toluene is right. Nitrobenzene, benzoic acid, electron withdrawing groups. Remaining one is a benzene and toluene. Toluene is electron donating group is there. That's why electrophilic substitution reactions will occur very fast. And next, which one is not aromatic compound? Which one is not aromatic compound? We should go. Answer was given like this. So condition for aromatic compound is 4n plus 2 pi electrons. And second condition is planar. And third condition is cyclic. So three conditions was there regarding aromatic compound. If a compound is aromatic or not aromatic means we should go with three conditions. First one is cyclic. So all are cyclic. Second one is planar. Planar means how to find planar means sp2 carbon. sp2 carbon is a planar. So all are having sp2 carbons only. Because of here plus is there sp2 carbon, here also plus is there sp2 carbon. And third condition 4n plus 2 pi electrons. Substitute n is equals to 0. N is equals to 0 we will get 2 pi electrons. N is equals to 1 6 pi electrons. N is equals to 2 10 pi electrons. So like this 2 pi electrons, 6 pi electrons, 10 pi electrons, if we observe, then the compound is aromatic. On the other hand, it is not aromatic. So here how many pi bonds are there? 1 pi bond is there. 1 pi bond is there, so it is 2 pi electrons. So this is an example for aromatic. And here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pi bonds. 5 pi bonds means 5 pi bonds is equals to 10 electrons. 10 electrons also there in this example. n is equals to 2, substitute n is equal to 10 pi electrons, so it is also aromatic. And here 1, 2 coming to this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 2, 3, 3, 6 pi electrons, aromatic. This is 6 pi electrons, aromatic. On the other hand, you should come this last example. Here, how many electrons? 4 pi electrons is there. 4 pi electrons is not in this table. 2, 6, 10 is there. 2, 6, 10 was there. So this 2, 6, 10 is not belongs to aromatic. This is an example of anti-aromatic. This is an example of anti-aromatic because it is having what? How many pi electrons? 4 pi electrons. It is having 4 pi electrons. So that's why that option number 4 is not an aromatic. Option number 4 is not an aromatic. Clear? So because here having only 14 electrons are present. Here individual, this is aromatic, this is aromatic, this is aromatic it is. So option 4 is right for this question. Go through with option 4. Option 4 is having only 4 pi electrons. 4 pi electrons is anti-aromatic. Next question, which one of the following statement is not correct for a sigma bond and pi bonds formed between two carbon atoms? This is concept background question. In this question a little bit correction was there. Sigma bond is stronger than pi bond. Obviously it is exactly correct. Sigma bond strength is very more. And second, bond energies of sigma and pi given. That is not, you make one correction my dear students, that is not sigma and pi. Pi and sigma, first one is a pi, second one is sigma, are of the order of 264 kilojoules per mole and 347 kilojoules per mole respectively. That is a wrong statement because of the order, what the order given when you observed in that question, that is correct order. What the statements 4 was given, this entire 4 statements are correct. But while typing it is, first we should type that interchange it is. Pi bond versus sigma bond is wrong. Sigma bond and pi bond is right. Free rotation of atoms supporting sigma bond is allowed, but not in case of pi bond. That is also right answer. Sigma bond determines the direction between carbon atoms, but pi bond has no primary effect in this regard. All sentences will be correct. It is. Don't get confused. All sentences will be correct. In second option, suppose they are going with first is pi, second is sigma. That is wrong statement. But here already it is over. Everything was done. So all statements are correct statements. Nothing will be the wrong statement is here. So that's why you make correction in the question paper. The second option, bond energies of pi and sigma bond, you go with. Pi and sigma bond is 264, 347. That is wrong statement. If you make correction. Otherwise, this is also correct statement. Clear? Next question. Now, in which of the following compounds decreasing order of boiling point? So remember my dear students, boiling point is directly proportional to surface area. More surface area, boiling point is more. Less surface area, boiling point is less. So option 1 greater than, option 2 greater than, option 3. See this. Option 1 open chain. In the question, option 1 is open chain. Option 2 is a single branch chain. Option 2 is a double branch chain. Once you observe the size, first option is open length chain. Second option is one branch iso. Second one is neo. So the answer is 1 greater than, 2 greater than, 3. You should go with this sentence. Boiling point is directly proportional to the surface area. Boiling point is directly proportional to the surface area. So that is the right answer for this question. Clear? And next. So first option is only right for this one. Next. In which alkane isomerization will not occur? Isomerization. Remember here, my dear students, for isomerization we require at least 4 carbons. At least 4 carbons we can apply isomerization. Here for at least 3 carbons minimum. For a position isomers, at least we should go with 3 carbons. 1 alcohol, 2 alcohol, like that. 1 chloro, 2 chloropropane. 1 chloropropane, 2 chloropropane, 1 propyl, 1 propane, 1 alcohol, 2 propane, 2 alcohol. At least 3 carbons we require. So once you observe that options, only first option C2H6. C2H6 is having only 1 carbon atom. C2H6 is having only 1 carbon atom. So such type of compound does not exhibit isomerization. C4H10, C5H10, C6H14 are available in the form of isomeric forms. It is clear. So first option is not occur isomerism. And the next question number 85. Addition of HBr to propene. Addition of HBr to propene. Propene, we should go with propene CH3, single bond CH, double bond CH2 plus HBr. Compulsory, we should follow what rule? Markovnikov rule. Compulsory, we should follow Markovnikov rule because of it is unsymmetrical alkene. Unsymmetrical alkene means here two number of hydrogens are there, here one number of hydrogen. One hydrogen will be there, two hydrogens are there. According to the Markovnikov rule, compulsory we should follow the product. Product decidement is based on the Markovnikov rule. According to Markovnikov rule, what he said, negative goes to less number of hydrogen atoms, positive goes to more number of hydrogen atoms. And this is answer will be like this: CH3, CHBr, CH3. This is a major. According to the mark. According to mark, it is a major. Negative goes to less number. The abundant, that is a negative species enter into the less number of hydrogen atoms and double bond carbon, and positive species attacks at more number of hydrogen atoms at the carbon atom. So this will be the question regarding addition of HBr to propene. So answer is 1 is the right answer for this one, first option. And next question number C6H6. C6H6, oxidation of benzene. Oxidation of benzene in the presence of vanadium pentoxide. Oxidation of benzene in the presence of vanadium pentoxide. Here what is X? So remember, my dear students, this is benzene on oxidation. Benzene on oxidation in the presence of vanadium pentoxide. The compound X. What is X means? X is this one. X is this is X. This X is called as malic anhydride. Malic anhydride is which can obtain from the malic acid. Which can obtain from the malic acid. So this is called as malic anhydride. Remember, oxidation of benzene. Oxidation of benzene in the presence of vanadium pentoxide. Oxidation of benzene in the presence of vanadium pentoxide gives rise to malic anhydride. First option. First option is right answer for this. The structure of malic anhydride: CHCOO COCH. This is the structure of, so here double bond, this is, don't get confused, CHCOO COCH. This compound is called as a malic anhydride. And next question, Bayer's reagent is. Bayer's reagent, this is a concept background question directed to 1% alkaline KMnO4 solution is called as Bayer's reagent. Cold dilute 1% alkaline solution is called as Bayer's reagent. That is a direct concept background question from organic chemistry. So 1% alkaline KMnO4. First option is right for this one. And next one, benzene undergoes substitution reactions more easily than addition. Benzene undergoes substitution because of benzene is having double bonds. Alkenes also having double bonds. Generally double bonds compounds undergoes addition reactions. Instead of that, benzene undergoes substitution reactions. What is the reason? Means one and only the reason, delocalization of pi electrons. Because of pi electrons, pi bonds are in conjugation. So go through that option number 3 of delocalization of pi electrons. Pi electrons are in conjugation. Pi electrons are in conjugation. Or we should go with pi bond is conjugate. Pi bonds are conjugate. Conjugate means alternate single bond, alternate double bonds are called as what it is? Conjugation system. So benzene undergoes substitution reactions. What is the reason? Delocalization of pi electrons. Third option is right for that question. And next, the catalyst the catalyst used to reduce an alkyne to alkene. Alkyne to alkene. You should go with the catalyst. We will go with the third option. It is Lindlar's catalyst. Lindlar's catalyst, RC triple bond CH. So what is Lindlar's means? Palladium barium sulfate plus quinoline. This catalyst is called as palladium barium sulfate plus quinoline is called as Lindlar's catalyst. So by using this Lindlar's catalyst, we can convert alkyne to alkene. Alkyne to alkene. This is the answer. Alkyne to alkene. This is alkyne, that is alkene. So we are going with Lindlar's catalyst. Lindlar's catalyst formula: palladium barium sulfate, quinoline. And next, last question. for this session. Which of the following reagent will be able to distinguish between 1-butane and 2-butane? What is 1-butane? CH triple bond, C single bond, CH2 single bond, CH3. What is 2-butane? CH3 single bond, C triple bond, C single bond, CH3. So once you observe, my dear students, in 1-butane this hydrogen is called as acidic hydrogen. In 1-butane this hydrogen is called as acidic hydrogen. Terminal alkynes. Terminal alkynes are stronger acids than internal alkynes. This is the terminal alkyne, this is internal alkyne. Terminal alkyne is the strongest acid than internal alkyne because of terminal alkyne is having acidic hydrogen. So this acidic hydrogen react with NaNH2. So it is once you add this NaNH2, what will give? This NH2 react with H will give rise to NH3 and we will get CNA. CNA triple bond, C single bond, CH2 single bond, CH. That type of facility is not there here. Options of hydrogen atoms. Options of hydrogen atoms, because of it is an example for internal alkyne. So terminal alkynes are strong acids than internal alkynes. So on the basis of that, we should go which is right, means 1-butane and 2-butane can be distinguished by what is that option is NaNH2. NaNH2. So this is the end of the session, my dear students. I hope you understood. Practice, practice, practice. You should feel NCERT, read NCERT. You should go through that concept background questions from NCERT and competitive material. So I hope you understood. I wish you all the best. Have a nice day. Thank you one and all. Bye bye.